I'm Ron James here at the MUFON Studios in Los Angeles. We've been following and documenting the drone incidents as they occur all over the world. It's a big mystery. Nobody's 100% certain of exactly what it is we're encountering. Could it be ET? Could it be a foreign government? Could it be our own government? We just don't know. We're going to share with you some of the possibilities with some of our leading investigators and keep delivering reports to you until we finally figure this out together.
Access granted.
This is a MUFON TV special report about the repeated drones that have been seen over the past several weeks. Drone reports have been flooding MUFON and the mainstream media to the point of hysteria. What are these mysterious drone-type car-sized objects in our skies? These objects are being seen over military installations, with Coast Guard cutters being followed by up to 14 drones on the eastern seaboard. They are being seen in New Jersey, flying over President-elect Donald Trump's properties. There have been repeated pilot reports to air traffic control. They are also being seen in the U.S. Air Force bases in the UK and Germany. Our Director of International Investigations, Bob Spearing, who joins me now with the latest updates, is here to give us some answers. Hi, Robert. Great to see you.
Good to see you too, Skye.
What is going on with these drones?
Right now, there's a lot of theories. Everybody all over the internet, some very famous ufologists, Russ Coulthart, Nick Pope. A lot of people have different takes on what's going on. Fran Ridge from NICAP and MADAR. And essentially, we have these supposedly unidentified drones that are proliferating all over the world at this point. They're being seen over some very sensitive U.S. locations. One of the concerns is that they may be foreign actors like Iran, Russia, or China, because tensions are very high right now with those three countries. And possibly Iran might have a so-called mothership out in the Atlantic that is delivering these drones to our East Coast. But our United States Pentagon says that that's not the case. However, they're telling us we don't know what they are, but don't worry about it, which also is inadequate. And then there might also be the possibility that it's some sort of American military exercise. And there are various theories about what might be going on with that at this critical time.
How much of this is hysteria?
Right now, I think most people are perplexed. I think our politicians are becoming scared. And I feel that the longer this goes, the more the hysteria will kick in. If you go back to 1957, when Russia launched Sputnik 1 and Sputnik 2, there was mass hysteria on the part of citizens in the United States because they feared what the Soviet Union might be doing. And the longer this goes on without a resolution, I think the more the hysteria is going to kick up, especially when our politicians are demanding answers, Congress is demanding answers, and the military and the administration are offering none. But the various theories that have been coming in over the past several days go back to Elon Musk saying in mid-September that great drone wars are coming. And it just so happens that in October, Elon Musk began launching satellites for a U.S. program called Starshield, similar to Starlink, but it's for defensive purposes. One theory is that this may be some sort of military exercise to test the Starshield system. Another theory is that maybe there's something else going on and the United States government may be trying to obfuscate it by putting their own drones in. And our government is trying to distract us away from something else that might be going on. Another theory is that the United States government may be checking our reaction to see how we would feel or react to an actual alien invasion. And this is sort of an exercise to gauge public concern. There's another theory that these may not actually be drones at all. Some of them may be holographic. Some of them may be possibly non-human intelligence presenting as drones, if you go into the Jacques Vallée theory of what UFOs might be. So there is a whole plethora of things going on. Also, these things are being seen over bases with B-52 bombers, F-35 fighter jets. They're being seen over reservoirs in New Jersey and Clinton, New Jersey, over Picatinny Arsenal, which stores chemical, biological, and nuclear weapons, and also maybe UFOs deep in their basement. Also over Earl Naval Station down in Monmouth County, New Jersey, where they experiment with weapons. So the theory there is that the United States might be planning to invade another country, and we're using our land and our reservoirs and our military bases to practice for that invasion. And there's some historical background to that theory. Back in December 9th of 2017, MUFON in Norfolk received over 76 reports in one night of objects being seen from as far east as the South Carolina to California. And these objects turned out to be a joint military exercise across the entire continental United States, where we were attempting to practice blunt entry into another country for an invasion. What was interesting is that when MUFON got the FOIA requests of the radar reports back, they showed that underneath these C-17 planes, there were swarms of drones. So we believe that the C-17s were acting as motherships, practicing using drone swarms. And this is as far back as 2017. Imagine what they have now. The most interesting part of that is that that happened in December, right after a populist outsider was elected president and hadn't taken office yet. And now 8 years later, that same populist outsider is back. And the same week, 8 years later, we see a similar thing going on. So there's a whole bunch of theories of what might be happening right now.
Would you say that this is similar to the last year's Chinese balloon incidents?
The fellow in Montana hadn't seen that balloon and made waves about it with the press. The United States people would have never known about that Chinese balloon. The Biden administration tried to blow that off also. What was apparent was that a week later, that the United States Air Force shot down 3 mysterious objects, one over Barrow, Alaska, one in the Yukon in Canada, and one over Lake Huron. And after 5 days of searching, the United States military claimed that the terrain and the conditions were too tough and that they would never be able to find it, which I believe is a lie. And I'll give you good reason. Back when that Titan submersible imploded on its way to the Titanic, the search field was the size of Massachusetts, and they found the object, and they found the submersible in 3 days in 12,000 feet of water. The object that was shot down over Lake Huron went down in 147 feet of water, and they knew within a mile where it was, and they claimed they were never able to find it. So again, I think the United States government is hiding things from people. If they weren't going to give us a straight answer then, and they tried to squash that story after the Chinese balloon went down, they're going to try to squash this story also and not tell the American people the truth.
What are people saying that these drones look like?
There's a certain level of paranoia setting in. If you go on the different UFO Facebook groups right now, people are talking about Project Bluebeam. That was a conspiracy theory back in the 90s, where NASA allegedly was going to try to perpetrate a fake alien invasion to bring on a worldwide control system of people, to unite them under some sort of, crazy fake religion. That would be a conspiracy theory, except for the fact that the Nazi scientist Werner von Braun, who invented the V-2 rocket and helped get us to the moon with Neil Armstrong, also predicted the same exact thing would happen in steps leading up to some sort of weaponization of space. And I believe in the end that that might be what's going on here, especially since Starshield has just been launching rockets since this past October. At the same time, the Russians have put something up into space that may be nuclear. So we may be witnessing the beginning of the super sophisticated drone wars and space warfare. And this is all sort of a ruse as to what's going on now.
Are they ours?
I'm changing my opinion day by day. 2 days ago, I thought they might be Iranian with the intent of taking out Trump because they do have a bounty on his head. Then I started to think that maybe they were ours and it's some sort of secret military exercise or psyop. And then last night I spoke with a prominent journalist who was considering whether or not they're not drones, but just made to look like drones, and that they may be some sort of non-human intelligence. And then today I'm reading all about the weaponization of space. So I'm pretty torn as to what's really going on here.
And who's investigating this?
A good question. People are calling for the FBI to investigate, but the FBI says they're not equipped. The FAA should be involved, and I think you're going to need local and state law enforcement. And the interesting thing also is that there's a law that's up for renewal. It's an Aviation Security Act, and it's going to be going to a vote very shortly. And the timing concerning what's going on now and what they want in that bill to pass is disconcerting. They want the government to have more control over what's in our skies, especially with drones. So our federal government would be implementing sort of another level of control over what's in our skies. And very shortly, we're going to be seeing a lot of things in our skies: Amazon delivery drones, possible terrorist drones, the amateur drones, and of course, military and law enforcement drones. So this may all be a setup in order to get that bill passed, because the public will be demanding answers. So Congress will be forced to pass that bill. And it really is just another control mechanism.
So I would also like to ask you if it may be a coincidence that right after the congressional hearing on UFOs, that there suddenly appears to be unknown drones in our skies. Would it be an attempt to pass some kind of legislation to investigate UFOs on the assumption that someone is aware that there may be more coming?
I believe that the bill was H.R. 8610. I might be wrong. And it's the aviation bill. The other thing that you should look out for with that is that there's a lot of money in UFOs now, and a lot of these private corporations want their cut. Elon Musk suddenly has gone up billions of dollars in worth. He's up to $400 billion right now in net worth. Also, if you're familiar with Palantir, which is owned by a billionaire named Peter Thiel. Peter Thiel also owns Enigma Labs, the private corporation that's investigating UFOs. If you follow Palantir stock, 2 years ago it was in the $20 range, and the last month it was in the $60 range, and now it's almost up to $80. These are surveillance software people. Elon Musk's Star Shield is a defensive system in space right now. There's a lot of money to be made, and if there, say, is a fake drone invasion that will scare the public enough to demand answers, that would be more than adequate of a reason for Congress to start putting out more and more billions and billions of dollars to corporations, and the circus just goes around and around and around. And we're only at the beginning of what's going on. These drone incursions began approximately November 18th. At the same time, MUFON did see a 23% increase in UFO reports worldwide. I think that within the next couple of weeks, the situation is going to get worse rather than better, especially if, say, China does something concerning Taiwan. We've already allowed Ukraine to launch missiles deep into Russia, which they're not happy about. The Syrian regime has just fallen, and ISIS is back basically in Syria. The world's a mess right now, and I think that all of this might be connected. So more will be coming, more will be revealed, and I think that even more incredible theories will be coming forth in the next several weeks, at least through the initiation of the next administration in the United States.
Thank you, Robert.
Thank you. Thank you, Scott.
You got drones being spotted, and a lot of drones, but they are drones. I don't believe they're extraterrestrial. I think that they are They have to be ours.
MacDonald says geo-tracking on drones makes it extremely difficult to fly them in restricted airspace without being caught. He says the drone shouldn't even be able to start near the Air Force Base.
Those airspaces are tightly controlled, and people get arrested for accidentally getting too close to one. So to have these things flying everywhere in the numbers that they are, somebody knows about it, and it's speculation from there. Why isn't anybody talking? The regulations are clear. You don't fly in restricted airspace. I mean, there's not a drone operator out there that is that dumb.
People across the tri-state have been sending us videos like this one, trying to figure out if different lights in the sky are drones. MacDonald says it's difficult to tell what is or isn't a drone to the naked eye.
When you're looking at a light in the sky, and if it's at any altitude, it's pretty tough to tell.
MacDonald says if you take a photo of a drone or UFO, you can send it to the Mutual UFO Network, who have experts to help decipher what you may be seeing.
I also just spoke with Southern California State Director Earl Grey. Let's hear his comments. Hi, Earl. Great to see you.
Hi, Skye. Thank you. It's great to see you.
What is going on with these drones?
There has been just an influx of information, people questioning me particularly. We've had reports of these drones, the same kind of drone activity from Temecula in the southern area of Southern California here, and San Diego, where we have our largest Navy base that's in the continent of the United States. So it's definitely something that people are concerned about. I've literally had my phone ringing off the hook with people asking me about it. And of course, we want everything to be a UFO, we're UFO investigators, but everything isn't always a UFO. Now, this is, I was confused like everybody else was about this, but I saw a post that was on X, Twitter, a couple days ago, and I think it made the most sense. And it was John Greenwald, who runs the Black Vault. He's sort of like the FOIA, the king of FOIA requests and reports out there. And he tends to not jump to conclusions. This he said that he thought that this made the most sense. I think it does as well. There was a post by a gentleman who it was also on X. His account was called Jersey Futures. And I'm just going to read what this guy posted. He posted it. It was up for a day and then it disappeared. I don't know if he was asked to disappear this post. Could have been, but it makes a lot of sense. It said, best explanation for the New Jersey drone situation. This breakdown was given to us by a now deleted X account called Jersey Futures. Here we go. I'm going to quote. I'm one of the few groups of people who know exactly what the drones are in New Jersey. This tweet will likely go into the void as I have no followers, but I'll share it anyway. So please retweet for reach, which I did. What you are seeing are American-made HPGE nuclear detector drones. They can detect the presence of gamma rays miles away. But what is a gamma ray? Now, a gamma ray, that's the stuff that we attribute to radiation, electromagnetic waves that penetrate you and can cause cancer. HPGE drones are built to inspect nuclear sites, but these ones aren't. They're a little different. In the late 2000s, the DoD needed a response to the threat of dirty bombs from ISIS coming into our ports in both New York and in New Jersey. They've been stocking up on these drones for a while now. Some were deployed to Ukraine when Russia threatened to use dirty bombs. They look weird because they're heavy. They have giant silo coolers that are mounted, cryo coolers that are mounted, as well as giant horn antennas to communicate on microwave frequencies that can't be jammed. And now normally, just kind of interjecting here, we would be able to jam these drones if they were not ours. That's the way that that they usually deal with drone incursions when people go into military bases, sensitive sites. I know people have tried to send drones over Area 51, for instance. Doesn't work because you can jam them immediately. Also, every single drone has a specific drone signature, and you can follow that to the operator that sent that drone up. So, if these were just some private individual or something like that, he would have the military police at his doorstep within 10 minutes. They would know exactly who is sending these up. Anyway, I'm going to go back to this guy's original post that he posted. So this is where I come in. The technology that these drones use has few suppliers, both for microwave equipment and the high purity germanium that's used. The same suppliers that are the backbone of my industry. So now what are they doing? They're collecting information on how the public will react. They are testing their ability to sweep a port city like New York for dirty bombs. New Jersey was chosen because we are the closest port city to New York, and New York would be too dense for reliable microwave comms. But why is the DoD being silent? Again, because in a scenario where we have a threat of a dirty bomb, and in the public, they don't need to know. The DoD needs to know how the public would react if these drones were deployed to sweep a city. Now, what many don't realize is that Ukraine is the reason why we're here. That was the first time that we deployed these drones in a combat zone. But make no mistake, they are here for protecting the homeland, as the DoD bought hundreds of thousands of these to act as swarms that are capable of sweeping a city for the possibility of a dirty bomb. That's the end of this gentleman's tweet. Now, there was a photograph of the specific drones that they have. They all have this 3-light configuration. We've seen these coming in videos. They all look the same. They apparently have a very low hum that would be caused by the rotors on these. They have 4 rotors, about the size of an SUV, because they have to be that size to carry the lifting platform that is required for a for a dirty bomb sniffing drone. It's not a small piece of equipment like you'd get at Hobby Lobby. You can get your own radio controlled drone over there. But no, these are about the size of a small SUV, I guess from Mini Cooper size to SUV size, and that's required for these things. According to this gentleman who posted that worked for the company that built these drones, he said that we had I think it was 180,000 that the DoD actually purchased. And now we did see videos that came from the Ukraine. Now I remember, people putting in videos saying UFOs hovering over battle site of the Ukraine. But apparently these were the exact same drones that we're seeing here now in New Jersey and New York and in San Diego out here. I mean, we've seen them too. The same 3-light configuration, the low hum, and it seems like they're working with a grid pattern, like they're sniffing something out. Now I will interject my own theory about why they are doing this. The gentleman that posted this, he said that he thought that it was probably a psyop to see how the public would react. I'm not sure that they would actually do that. My guess is, I being the state director for MUFON, I do know a lot of people. I have a couple of DoD contacts. I've got a couple of Air Force OSI contacts that I'm in communication with, Homeland Security agents. And I've been told that it's not an uncommon thing for us to get a dirty bomb threat, that we've gotten them in the past. We're going to get them in the future. America, unfortunately, we have our enemies out there. Now, in the past, we would get a threat like this, and there wasn't a whole lot we could do. But I'll tell you, I'm actually happy that this is kind of like your black budget tax dollars at work, folks. They do have these drones that they can deploy now. and they can find the possibility of, it detects the gamma rays at every nuclear, the material left, from, even from like a nuclear power station, you've got this dirty material. And if you spread that using a regular bomb, it could cause multiple deaths. It could cause a full city to get cancer. I mean, it's very, very dangerous. And I'm personally glad that we have a way to deal with this now, and that we can actually, catch the perpetrators that are doing such things, and that we would be able to stop something like this before the terror act was actually carried through. And maybe we actually had a threat, I mean, now we're seeing this at military bases in the UK, certain places in Europe. Again, I'm getting reports from the San Diego area, right around the Navy base there. And the New Jersey corridor, it leads right from the New York Harbor all the way over to Fort Dix, which is the major Army base that's in New Jersey. So if somebody threatened us with, a dirty bomb, those would be pretty much the sites that they would probably choose. They would want to cause a problem with our military, a problem with responding. And so my guess is that perhaps we've had a threat. They wouldn't tell the public this. What could the public do? I mean, there's nothing people could do except, throw their hands in the air, run around and be afraid. So my guess is that maybe we received this threat and we're responding to that, and that's what people are seeing. And it's the proper response. If we have such hardware, we should be using that. It's to keep the homeland safe. So for me, this explains the whole, the drone incursions. It explains to me why people are being told not to shoot at them. They're saying, don't shoot at them. And we had the Chinese spy balloon. They shot it down. They had a shoot it down order, and they did that. But they're saying, don't shoot these down. And that tells me that they belong to us. It's the only reason why they would say that. Going forward, I think that we have to, do due diligence ourselves and not always jump to conclusions at what we're looking at, even if it looks strange in the sky, is always a UFO. As one aerospace engineer friend of mine says, there are their UFOs, their meaning, our visitors out there, not us. And then there are our UFOs. But we can't do what they can do. When we are looking for UFOs, we look for the 5 observables. The Tic Tac, for instance, it would go from a standing, hovering position to instant acceleration at hypersonic speeds, not creating sonic booms. We're breaking the laws of Newton here. But, this is the sort of technology that we see from our visitors. Transmedium flight from water to air to space. We see that. I get reports from, commercial pilots seeing, anomalous objects doing that kind of flight pattern. And we can't do that. I don't believe that's our technology. But what we're seeing with these drones and the incursion on the New Jersey, Fort Dix base and all this that's going on now, I'm not seeing any of the 5 observables happening. I'm not seeing hypersonic speeds. I'm not seeing these things doing 180-degree turns, traveling the speed of sound. They're acting like drones, like very high-tech drones. But I think that it's our technology. And I think going forward, we have to designate between what we see that's ours, that may be high tech and the public isn't always aware of. And then we have to delineate those sightings from that which is not us and is anomalous. And that would be something like the Tic Tac or the Go Fast or the gimbal video, where it's breaking the laws of physics as we know them and doing stuff that we can't do. I think that's important, So that's what I would say in the future is we just have to be able to designate our own high tech from the stuff that we can't do, because that's a UFO and that's our visitors.
Thank you for your comments, Earl. This has been a MUFON TV special report. I'm Skye LaFever.
We'll continue to post reports until we all get to the bottom of it. I'd like to thank Skye LaFever, Robert Spearing, Earl Grey Anderson, and all of the other people who have helped us behind the scenes to put these reports together. Stay tuned.